Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. Court is back in session. Welcome to another exciting episode of The Devil's Due. I am your host, Carl Duty. Yeah. With me, as always, is the man whose top scores are always legitimate, Mr. Drew Celestino.
At least I claim they are.
Yes.
Apparently, all you need to lay claim is a, Polaroid of your screen.
Well,
it was the 80s.
Well, no, this was like stuff that's happened recently. For those of you who don't know, and that's for this one, it's probably most of you. There's a gentleman who goes by the name of Billy Mitchell, who's made his fame by laying claim to having the top score ever in Donkey Kong, and he's renowned for, I guess, playing the perfect Pac-Man game, things like that. Well, turns out old Bill was kind of fudging his scores or using unrecognized software, things like that. So, yeah. Which
sure,
I'm okay with, because if you ever see the movie King of Kong, the guy's kind of a douchebag.
Well, he can, he might have been playing that up for the sake of the film, but
it was a documentary.
You can play things up for the sake of a film. Even documentaries have their wink, wink, nudge, nudge kind of. Anyway,
so
yeah, he doesn't look good for him. Which okay, sure.
Here we are back again.
We're back.
We're back in our familiar surroundings of the Cobra Island Studios at Drew's place. Opening statement oh, geez,
you're on a roll today.
This cold. Well, I've gone from like speaking as little as possible for the past since last Tuesday night after we got done recording to getting full throttle back into it. That being said, opening statements. How was your week?
Week's been fine. Not quite as eventful as last week's. I don't have a 20-minute diatribe on the glory of New Japan Pro Wrestling right now. But it's good. It's good. We had game night on Friday.
How was game night on Friday?
It's cool.
I was not in attendance.
You were ill. That's okay. Don't you keep your viral death unto yourself over there. It was nice. We played a game, and the name escapes me. I want to say it was like Assassins or something like that.
Wasn't it called Adrenaline Rush?
Adrenaline. That might be it. Yeah, okay. I knew it was with an A. It's like first-person shooter, the board game. So you run around the map and you get weapons and you kill each other.
How was it?
It's pretty good. I think if I could play it, I did poorly, but if I were to play it again, I would have a whole different strategy and acquire different weaponry and just lay waste to everyone.
I'm surprised you've never picked up the Doom board game.
There's a Doom board game?
Yes.
I feel like I should have it.
I think it's a little up there in price. It's like $80.
Oh, never mind.
It's a big box game.
Oh, well, I have a threshold. I spent $120 on 2 copies of Doom so far, so $80 for the board game. We'll see. We'll see about all that business.
It's got miniatures.
I do like miniatures, especially
like
Doom.
Really good miniatures.
They're Doom miniatures.
I
could be sold on Doom miniatures. And then what was the fruit game that we played with Alan a few weeks back?
Forbidden Fruit. Mystical Fruit.
Something like that. We played that again as well. So good stuff. That was Friday. Saturday, ritual band practice onto diaper party for Tim, which was cool. Had some drinks, had some food. And Saturday evening, after I kind of got home from that, I decided, for whatever reason, to watch Batman 89.
Ah, yes.
For the first time in a long time.
We had a lengthy text discussion on this.
It was strange.
Yeah?
It was surreal in a way to watch that movie again with some fresh eyes.
Yeah, what were your takeaways?
It's a solid flick. Some curious choices were made. But strictly aesthetically, and sonically, what a tremendous movie. Yeah. Every Batman movie should look like that. Not even Returns, which was from the same director, looked like that.
Yeah.
And I dare I say to its detriment. Batman 89 just is like visually incredible. The Anton Furst design work in that movie is stellar. The 40s kind of costuming with the modern cars, but the Art Deco aesthetic, but like the ugliness of Gotham.
It looked just modern enough.
Yeah. Dude, it just works because it looks real, but fantastic at the same time.
Yeah.
And it really puts Batman into his own little world. And the Dark Knight movies and stuff, like, they're great, but it's, Chicago, basically,
That's the Chicago way.
That's the Chicago way. And that's fine, because that's what, what Nolan was going for, but I feel like, Batman should have that kind of fantasticness to it, to a degree.
I think all the DC characters and films would benefit greatly.
Totally.
More, and that's kind of what we discussed when we were talking about Justice League.
Yeah,
parts where like leaned into the fantastical,
and those were the cool parts.
More comic book aspects were the parts that worked.
Right. So, it was that part of it. I was like, man, and Danny Elfman's score, dude, is just like, man, that dude was working back in the mid to late 80s. Elfman was on fire compared to his Justice League score, which I couldn't tell you much about.
Yeah.
Kind of a shame. Anyway.
The only parts where we really paid attention was when he was dipping into the well.
Yeah. Well, like when the slightest inkling of the Batman theme turned up, I was like, oh.
When Wonder Woman first shows up, that whole scene in the museum or whatnot, he was kind of strutting there. That I did notice that it was very Elfman-ish.
I like when he goes full Elfman. Yeah. Don't hide, just embrace. just be you. Give me the Beetlejuice score over a superhero movie. I'm good. But the Joker character, Joker's fine.
The visual is great.
Yeah, the Joker is fine and jokery, but the whole tying it to Jack Napier and the gangster origin and the girl Felicia and all, like, you know what I mean? Like you're I don't need all that. I don't need the origin to be so like simple, I guess, like, oh, he's betrayed by a lover or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. That's not really adding anything to the mythos here. And even though I don't like that they made Jack Napier, the Joker, kill Batman's parents, I was always amazed by that actor who played younger Jack Napier because he looks like
Jean-Claude Van Damme's twin.
He does look like Van Damme, yeah. but he also looks like Nicholson, but he also looks like Van Damme. But that's kind of creepy,
especially when he smiles. You're just like, can you just make this guy the Joker? Look at that smile.
Yeah, but
you had to put prosthetics on Nicholson to give him the smile.
They couldn't sell the movie on that guy. So
yeah,
Keaton, still a great Batman. Not so much Bruce Wayne.
And you mentioned that to me, and I said I don't think the script really gave him a chance to be a good Bruce Wayne.
He doesn't have a lot to do as Bruce Wayne, so he doesn't have a chance to kind of be Bruce Wayne-y. But just physically, I feel like his size was a factor in the movie. Like when I saw him, I'm just like, oh, outside of the costume, Bruce.
How you looking there, Mr. Mom?
You're just not much to you, is there? I mean, say what you want about Ben Affleck, but like, dude, he hulked up for the role, and it's like, okay, well, he's got some beef to him, so I buy that Batman, and Bale too. So but still, Michael Keaton. I can't besmirch the Keaton. I love him too much. Vicky Vale's character has its place in this story in that she's kind of like our eyes into the world. So it works, but I also feel like, again, giving the love interest the whole love interest angle
is pre-2008, so
right, yeah,
there's got to be a hero, there's got to be a villain, we need an origin story for both, and there's got to be a love interest.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's pretty much the template that we had to follow up to that point. So yeah, the Joker fawning over her and Batman too, and it just I don't need it. I don't need it. But there it is.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, ultimately, because I saw it recently, a couple of years back, the visuals and the music hold up completely.
Oh yeah,
and are near perfect. The characters and the story don't really hold up at all.
Yeah.
The movie opens with Batman watching a mugging and does nothing.
Yeah.
A mugging of parents with a kid in an alley.
I know.
If there's any one crime Batman's going to trip over his cowl to bust up, it's that.
Yeah. You're right. No, you're absolutely right. But say la vie. Here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
and ultimately this may sound hot takey, but ultimately looking back, I don't think Nicholson's Joker is all that great.
I still enjoy him, but it's just tying it to the Napier thing and all that. It's just kind of like I just don't need, because you know what happens. You identify him as one thing, and then when he changes, you're still recalling the old thing, and you're like, I don't want the Joker to have that point of comparison. He's just the Joker,
Yeah.
and how he acts and how he behaves. I don't need to be reminded of what he was or whatever. Like, he just is.
One thing we both agreed on is that movie could have used a lot more Jack Palance.
Oh, sure. Any movie could use more Jack Palance.
But yeah. You know what I was actually thinking after we'd stopped talking. I was like, if you wanted to do a Batman movie like that with Batman and Joker, and you kind of want to do Joker's origin, you know what you do? You do a movie that's from the perspective of Gordon.
Sure.
Like,
then you're getting into like year one meets sort of year one meets Killing Joke.
Yeah, but you don't have see, dogs agree with me.
Yeah.
You don't have like any narrative from Batman or the Joker. It's 100% from Gordon's
He's
perspective.
just observing.
He's observing and he's encountering. So you almost treat Batman like the shark in Jaws.
Ah.
And kind of Joker the same way.
I could be sold into that, but I don't know if audiences would agree.
Yeah.
They want Batman and the Joker.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, that was Saturday for the most part.
Yeah, dogs are
Sunday.
nuts out there.
Well, I think the wife is home, so
Ah.
we may actually want to give Lucas a chance to go say hi. So just give him a little. There he goes. It's so exciting around here, folks. Sunday.
The jury is vocal this week.
Oh yeah, we need some order in this court. It doesn't happen often. Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Yes.
So that was pretty much the day. All day I didn't really do much. I took it easy, which I wanted to do. Played some Wolfenstein.
Getting any better for you?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Yeah.
It's just different, and for better or worse, it's just a different game than I want from a first person shooter now, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I still think you would have benefited from a buffer between Doom and that.
Perhaps. Super Bowl. I went to a private event at a bar locally, and went with the old man, and it was great beer selection, had some food, and I could not have asked for much more out of the game, sir.
Yeah, that game was incredible.
And I'm very pleased with the outcome, and Tom Brady and the Pats can go eat it and pound sand, because may they never, ever, ever win again.
Yeah, they'll be back next year.
I know.
You know that.
I know that. But I like to, let me believe for a minute that they might break up. So anyway, that was cool. And that kind of just brings us back into the week as it were right now. Here we are. Here I am. And Bob's your uncle or whatever the Canadians say. So
cool.
And you, sir.
Oh, me.
Besides your illness and whatnot.
That was pretty much it.
That'll do it.
Tuesday night after we recorded a game on, like as you could tell, my voice was shot afterwards. Wednesday I went to work. I was feeling like crap the whole day. Thursday night, I'm coughing so much. I sleep out on the couch because I don't want to wake up Julie or the baby with the coughing, because our rooms are relatively close together.
Yeah.
So Thursday I woke up, could barely move, just aches all over, coughing like crazy, and 101 temperature.
Yeah, it's a little high.
Yep. So, fortunately, the insurance plan we're on has a really neat little service called Virtual Visits.
Okay.
So I had a doctor's office visit through FaceTime on my phone.
I've done that with what do they call it? I have I have the same app. Well, not the same app, but an app. Doctor on Demand. So I did that before as well.
That was
kind of neat.
It was interesting. Yeah, it's like, oh, the world we live in.
I know, right?
So I got like a prescription out of it for like a super amoxicillin, and I've been taking that 2 times a day. And then Thursday and Friday, I was home from work, just
curled up in a blanket.
Pretty much. You know, I'm sick when I barely even want to play video games.
Yep, I know that feeling.
I'm just
not
like,
good.
What can I watch that's tolerable on television? Okay, great. I will leave it there and then go. Watch Replacements.
Okay.
With Keanu Reeves.
Whoa.
He's whitey. Movie's funny. So yeah, that was pretty much like I started to feel a little bit better Saturday, and then Sunday was feeling up to snuff. Yesterday went back to work and came home with pounding headaches. I was coughing so much.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Well,
isn't it funny how you regress when you go back to work?
Office building, don't really clean out the air ducts that much and whatnot. So.
It's almost as if work is bad for us.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Spoilers.
Got to pay the bills.
I know. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Went back to Abe and feeling gradually better. But yeah, that was pretty much it.
There you go.
Julie has been amazing and great in taking care of me and like taking William out of the house so I can get some rest and things like that. She went and grabbed my comics for the week. So that was nice. Didn't have a lot this week. Only had 2 books, I think.
I had 2 or 3. It was very light, which
Defenders
I'm good with.
And Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers. Yeah. Which is, fun.
Sure.
Stupid fun. Defenders is still really good, though.
I'm catching up. I'm coming around. It's coming up on the read file. So
you haven't even started yet, have you?
I'm not. No, I did. I think I read through like issue 4 or 5.
Okay.
So I'm in there. I just got to get up there.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little bit, but
yeah.
Some other stuff kind of took precedent. So
yeah, that was pretty much my week. Dear listeners, if you would like to tell us about your weeks, if you'd like to send any questions to the show or comments, you can find us at the following locations. You can go to Twitter and follow us at Devils Do Pod. You can go to Facebook.com/DevilsDoPod. You can email us at thedevilsdopod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdopodcast.com. That being said, also, if you would like to meet us in person,
God knows why.
we have an appearance coming up this weekend. As mentioned last week's show, we will be at Game on Land on Delaware Avenue in Buffalo, New York, Saturday for their fighting game tournament. I will be competing in at least 1 game, possibly 2. We will be there. We're going to have a new official T-shirts that we will be sporting. I mean, granted, they're just for us. Because
we're not going to be selling them just yet.
We're not going to be selling just yet.
There's a market for it yet.
But there will be something for you if you show up outside of the joy of meeting Drew and myself. We're going to have a whole stack of comic books we're going to be just giving away to you folks. I've gone through the collection and purged out, which I feel is just unnecessary to keep. It's all recent stuff, so don't think you're going to be...
Here's my crap.
Yeah.
Take my crap.
Here's my Amazing Spider-Man 300. It's all yours. Yeah, no. No, it's good stuff. It's just, as you get older, you begin to realize the importance of having space. Space.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that in here, but we'll get there.
And these comics are not going to be worth anything for at least 60 years.
Way to sell them to people.
But hey, they're good reads. Good stuff.
All right. There you go.
So yeah, come out, see us. I believe the event starts at 12 and goes to like usually about 5 or 6, and then people hang out afterwards.
I'll be there for the early sesh. So
gonna be a lot of good time. You can also catch it on stream, and we'll post that as well. We're gonna talk to some people there, have a good time. So That being said, time to go to cross-examination. So we will start this week, actually, hold on a second. Mr. Chris Taylor has sent in some questions. First off, have you seen the documentary Turtle Power, The Definitive History of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? If not, I'd highly recommend it. Goes into detail of the creation with Eastman and Laird, from a tiny 3,000 self-printed run to the Mirage days to the licensing, cartoons, and early movies.
I have not seen this.
I have not seen this. I looked up a trailer for it. It looks really good. I looked to see if it was streaming on anywhere. It's not streaming for free, but you can like rent it from Amazon. So I think I might rent it.
Okay.
Because, love me some turtles.
I'd be curious.
Actually, the trailer is expected any day now for the Ninja Turtles in Injustice 2.
So I'm more excited for that than I am the new designs and the new cartoon they're doing.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Do you want to save that for the case files?
Not really. They're ugly.
They look terrible, and Raphael no longer has size, apparently.
Yeah, and he's the leader.
Yeah, no.
And he's 10 times the size of the rest of them.
Yeah, no. Let's just, there you go.
Yeah.
There's your review of that up front.
No, thanks.
I'm good here, thank you.
Second question. Can you explain why DC seems to lay heavily on creating TV series that tell pre-origin stories like Gotham, the upcoming Krypton series, and I guess you can maybe lump Smallville into that?
It's cheaper.
Yeah, when you don't have to include
no powers, that's cheap.
That's one of the things. Like they had a hit with Smallville, and it went like 10 seasons, and I watched Smallville and self-contained, take it for what it was. It was fun. It adds fun moments. Gotham to me is just a train wreck.
Yes, it's trash television that people seem to enjoy, actually.
Yeah. They've done some interesting things I would like to see done in things other than Gotham. Like their casting of Ra's al Ghul was perfect.
No, that's a
but
shame.
At the same time, Ra's al Ghul should not be in that show.
No.
Their aesthetic of Mr. Freeze was fantastic. Once again, Mr. Freeze should not be. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and now they did what I knew they were going to do, which is they've gotten to the point where they've so oversaturated with villains, they kind of pseudo have to bring in Batman now. So you've got Bruce Wayne dressing up in like not a Batman costume, but think of like a earless cowl. And
I'm shaking.
terrible.
I'm shaking my head right now.
It's terrible.
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Like Julie summed it up best. Her and I watched the pilot together. 20 minutes in the pilot, she's like, "Why are all these characters here?"
I knew that show was in trouble the minute I saw Jim Gordon without a mustache. I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm done.
So yeah, was Krypton.
I mean, you could do a story like that in like an episode of a Superman show.
Yeah.
But as a show?
Yeah.
Planet blows up. That's all it's got to do. I don't need to know everything else.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So, I don't need to know what, Superman's grandfather did to ensure freedom on Krypton. Because the end of the story is boom.
It's kind of like, I don't need the Star Wars prequels at all either. Spoilers. The Empire is formed and there's their story. Okay, cool.
I think those had questions more people were interested to see answered than, what was Superman's grandpa like?
I guess, but it's the same idea, though. We know.
But I think ultimately it's because they're a little more cost effective now, which is strange because, like, they're doing shows now that are quality level on par with what Marvel's doing in theaters, which have the visual effects and everything. And so, I don't
know.
Yeah. I guess, when you think about it, though, those are kind of like the shows they give to the other networks. Like, oh, you want, excuse me, you want a superhero show? Here, you can have Gotham. Here, Fox, you can have Gotham. Here, Sci-Fi, you can have,
Krypton. I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Yep. Okay, so Chris, thank you very much for your questions. Next up, Mr. J. Gelsomino.
Oh.
Drew and Carl, how many calendar days is it until Jay and Drew go to Long Beach?
Calendar days? Let me count.
While you're asking that, or while you're researching that, I'll ask you your question. Drew, are you looking forward to going Long Beach?
Yes, I am.
My question, Carl, are you looking forward to Drew and Jay going to Long Beach? I mean, I guess. Bring back like a t-shirt or something.
I got 47 days by my count. Long Beach NJPW. Oh, it's gonna be an event. I'm amped. I am quite amped, and clearly so is Jay.
Clearly. Okay, so moving on to Mr. Alan Waiters. Carl and Drew, what do you think of the Falcon launched by Elon Musk's SpaceX? Would you be willing to colonize the moon or Mars? What thing would you bring from Earth during colonization?
I did watch the launch today, actually.
I did not.
It was incredible.
Was it like different than any normal rocket launch?
Yeah, you're not familiar with the SpaceX technology?
I'm not familiar with the technology. I know it's like a rocket that sends supplies up to the International Space Station.
Yes, that it does. But the amazing thing about it was not so much the launch, but the re-entry. So the booster rockets that detach when it gets up in... Dude, the booster rockets are reusable. They don't just fall into the ocean and they don't just like send out a boat to pick them up.
Yeah.
No. They had cameras on them. So they had a 4-way split screen of like cameras mounted to this thing. So two of them were on the actual vessel going into space. One was centered on the thruster. Two of the cameras were on. One was on each of the booster rockets. You see it falling back to Earth through the atmosphere, burning with a fire and all that.
Yeah.
Then they had a camera on the ground showing them as soon as they started coming back down, like they followed them. Because they're reusable, they have a re-entry burn. The re-entry burn adjusts their trajectory, and they landed dead center on landing pads back in Cape Canaveral.
Wow.
It was incredible. I could not... It didn't even look... Like, it was mind-blowing.
That's pretty awesome.
Like, it's like something you see in a movie. It's real life. They have this technology. So this thing launched a vessel into space, went back through the atmosphere, and then landed themselves on a platform perfectly.
That's pretty incredible.
It was mind-blowing. I could not believe it. I was like...
Yeah.
We are living in the future.
Yeah. I would definitely be all for colonizing. Let's colonize the moon.
We'll start small.
We know we can get there.
Yes.
I think one of the great tragedies of the past 40 or so years is how little we've explored space.
Yeah.
We got up there, and then all of a sudden we're like, all right, we're here.
Done. Yeah. Well, there was no one left to compete with.
Yeah.
America kind of won all the things and said, well, we're good. Good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can start on the moon. Mars is intriguing, albeit, cold and desolate and dead, but so is the moon, so what are you going to do? But you got to take small steps in order to take the next small step. So these are the steps that must be taken. We really should be up there. We should be doing stuff and using it as launch pads towards bigger and better, wherever that may take us. What would I bring with me? I got to bring a guitar. I would need something to do while I'm up there besides, farm potatoes or whatever and drink my own pee.
You know what? This is going to sound cheesy. I would bring my Bible. It would be really cool to read God's word while sitting on one of his most immaculate creations. Yeah. That's what I would bring.
All right.
So yeah, I suppose you'd have to say we'd have to terraform Mars first.
Well, that's
we'd have
if you're
to
going to
move-
colonize it, that's
we'd
part
have
of the process.
We'd have to move the little marbles around on
Yes,
the cards.
I see what you
Like
did
that.
there.
Carl, are you hurt that Drew didn't get you a ticket to see New Japan in Long Beach, California? No, I'm not. Because you know what? Can't afford a trip to California right now.
That ticket wasn't cheap either.
Yeah, I
son.
know. It's just, if it was like local, and he didn't say, "Hey, I'm buying tickets. Do you want one?" Might be a little miffed, but not talking like relationship ending here. But yeah, he's going to.
This is there's funds being spent here.
Yes. Drew,
Yes.
with the Switch officially outselling the Wii U in just over a year, actually it'd be just under a year because
Yeah.
Switch came out in March, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not even a year yet.
Okay. What do you think was the Wii U's biggest downfall?
Twofold. First one, big one, branding. Terrible branding. People out of the gate didn't know what it was. Is it a new system or is it like a new controller for the Wii?
Yeah, because the base console didn't look
that
outrageously
different.
different. It looked like a curved Wii.
And the controller was really the point of emphasis and all the advertising.
Yeah.
People were confused. I wasn't because I knew, but to your average person, they had no idea. Like oh wait, it's what now? Like what? Oh, it's this other thing, but it's the Wii, but it's not. So yeah, that was a huge mistake. Second thing, basically lack of execution. Well, okay, three things. Lack of execution is my second thing, and what I mean by that is the tablet was great, and as we're finding out on the Switch, like all the potential was there. Unfortunately, it couldn't operate independently of the system, so you had to be within range of it. It wasn't like they knew they were onto something, but they weren't quite there yet.
Yeah. So
lack of execution was really a problem there. Third thing, lack of third-party support. And this is basically every Nintendo console, it feels like, but third parties just don't want to invest, and if they don't want to invest, then it's an uphill climb for Nintendo to do it alone.
It also seems like Nintendo pulled the plug on that system a lot more quickly than they have on systems in the past. Because I got one for Christmas one year, and then I got the Super Mario World 3D bundle, so I got that with it.
Yeah, great game.
I think I borrowed a game or two from you that were also just like the Super Mario Brother U games.
Mm-hmm.
But then nothing came out that I wanted to get.
Like I said, Nintendo had to go it alone, and
there wasn't even a Nintendo. I think the biggest Nintendo release that came out after I got my Wii U was Captain Toad.
Okay. Well, Super Mario Maker, was that out there when?
Yeah, that came out.
Okay, because that was a flagship. That game, my God, I love that. That's so much fun. But again, like I said, they had to go it alone, and Nintendo's only so big; they can only put out so many titles on their own. So they need support, and support wasn't there, and they had to do what they had to do. And it did have a 5-year life. And that's kind of the standard nowadays for a console, but
I would say that's the old standard. New standard is kind of more between 7 and 8 years.
Yeah, but usually the follow-up, they don't pull.
Although, who knows where we're going to go now that we're introducing,
every 2 or 3, we're going to have a new iteration or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, those are where it fell short. I enjoyed it. I loved all the games I had for it. I feel like, ultimately it was a good system that wasn't quite ready yet, and the Switch basically delivered on all of the promise that the Wii U had.
You can definitely tell the lessons Nintendo learned from the Wii U when the Switch was rolled out.
Yeah.
It was very clear, defined. This is what it is. This is what it can do. This is what it potentially can do in the future.
Right.
Oh, and by the way, here's a Zelda game.
Yeah, that helped. That really helped, actually. But dude, Mario sold more. Can you believe, I thought, Zelda Game of the Year and Mario sold 20 million more copies than Zelda did. That's amazing.
Tough because look at the install base between when Zelda came out and when Mario's out. I think that kind of skews it in because remember when Switch first released, they sold more copies of Zelda than there were Switches available.
Right.
So if you have like, let's say it's a year after the Switch has been out, and then you do like Zelda in the beginning of the year and the Mario at the end of the year like they did, I think Zelda probably outsells Mario. I think what helped Mario, not saying Mario wasn't a great game, loved it, played it, it's fantastic. Zelda's just not my cup of tea, so I didn't play that one, but I recognize that it's a landmark game. But Mario kind of had the advantage where more people physically had Switches when that game came out than when Zelda came out.
I guess, but the numbers are really skewed. It's strange. I think Mario just has that more broad appeal than Zelda. Zelda's a little more hardcore.
Well, especially those titles. Because with Mario, there's still a little bit of guidance as to like where to go and what to do.
A little bit,
like
sure.
Whereas Zelda, from everything you've told me, there's little to none.
Yeah.
So
it's
like
wherever you want to go.
It's not as maybe little kid friendly.
No, definitely not.
As Mario was.
No, it doesn't hold your hand and it sends you on your way. And Mario is the more broad appeal kind of title, and Zelda's for the kids who want more.
Yeah.
But anyway, here
we
are. Cool.
So, thank you everyone for your questions. We appreciate them. They'll bring us right over to the case files. And since we're talking about Nintendo, let's just jump right in. Nintendo had some news stories this past week. One we kind of already knew. They were just, I guess, reinforcing that they're going to do it. The other one was the rare Nintendo announcement that Drew doesn't care about. The first one, the one we kind of already knew, is that Nintendo announced that they are making a Super Mario Brothers movie with Illumination, who you know from Despicable Me and the Minion movies.
Yeah.
They do good animation over it. Despicable Me movies are fun and enjoyable. And
I hate the Minions, though.
Yeah, the Minions are good in small doses.
Well, let's hope that they don't turn the Goombas into the Minions or whatever. Honestly, fine. It's fine. Some people are like looking at this news like, if it's not Pixar, it's going to be terrible. And it's like, dude, it's going to be fine.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to kick a Pixar Mario movie out of bed for eating crackers.
Right.
But yeah.
No, it's that same studio also made like The Secret Lives of Pets and all that. And I like that one. That was cute. I'm an animal guy.
Movie,
so
they're a capable animation studio.
And Shigeru Miyamoto is producing. So I feel like if there is going to be any overly creative, annoying decisions, someone from Nintendo will be there to kind of be like, no, that's not what we're doing here.
So you're saying that Kevin Hart will not be the voice of Mario?
I mean, I'm not saying that he won't. Well, first off, do we know that he's okay? Because he kind of got blocked at the Super Bowl trying to get on stage.
That was funny.
And I want to make sure he's not in jail or anything. And he's okay.
Not for nothing. I'll take Kevin Hart as Toad.
Sure. He could be Toad.
I'd be good for that.
You know what's going to be weird about that, though, to be honest with you, though, is the voices in those games are kind of like, they've kind of become defined over time. Yeah. Whereas back in the 8-bit days, we had nothing.
Yeah.
But now, Mario, he talks like this. Toad kind of has like the, that voice. Like, we got to get away from that now. Oh no, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be strange.
Can we get John Leguizamo as Luigi? Can you?
No.
Come on.
No.
Let him make up for it.
No. It's not his fault. He had a pulse in that movie, but no.
He needed a paycheck.
I hope there's ample fan service, though. To be honest, like I need some Luigi death stare in this movie.
Yeah, that'd be pretty great.
I need some death stare.
Yep.
I'm going to need Mario at some point to just run around with no shirt on because people apparently lost their minds. Oh, I got news on that too, by the way.
More fan stuff doing fans?
Well, Nintendo answered questions and they were flabbergasted that these were issues. So the producer of Super Mario Odyssey came out and answered fan questions, and people asked him, how is it that Mario has nipples but no belly button? And he was kind of taken aback, like, why do you care?
Yeah, it's like this. Really? This is the thing?
Oh, so we got confirmation that Toad's head is his head. It's not a hat, which anyone should know because he's a mushroom. He's a mushroom person.
And
again,
I don't care. I don't care.
Me neither, man.
I don't care.
Good.
Drew.
Good.
I don't care.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I don't care.
What else did they do this week? That's
They
cool.
announced a new mobile game.
Oh, yeah, don't care.
Yeah, this is the rare Nintendo.
They announced something else, too, but get to the mobile game.
The mobile game is Mario Kart Circuit or mobile. Mario Kart Mobile.
Why?
Sure, why not? Mario Kart Run was fun.
Why do I want that when I have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is the best Mario Kart game ever made on the Switch?
Cheaper?
Fine. You can have it. I'm good. You know what else they announced, though?
What's up?
Finally, the launch date for their online network, March. So in March, we get the Nintendo Network. $20 a year. Less than half the cost of the other guys.
Well, I would hope so. They're really not established in this area to go around charging $60 for their services.
Well, neither were the other guys before they did. So.
I mean, okay, sure.
But they
again, this going back to previous conversations we've had on this isn't the reason I go to Nintendo.
That's fine, but for $20 a year,
it's fine price.
Give it to me. Let's see what you got. Especially if they say, "Hey, by the way, with that comes your subscription to the archives. We can play all our old games." Yeah. They haven't really said that yet.
If it's something like that, it will be like like they mentioned, Ice Climbers.
That stuff is in there. There are
Mario Brothers.
Yes.
You won't get like the premium stuff, all you can eat.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But maybe. People are holding out hope, and I'm not necessarily, but I'm open. I want to be surprised.
They know there's that person out there who's going to, pay $15 or whatever it is for, or actually no, on Wii U they were like $6 each for original Super Mario Brothers again.
Sure. Yeah, but you could have them, you could nickel and dime like that, or you get everyone hooked on the $20 a year forever.
And still nickel and dime them with, the premium archive games.
I hope not, but you're probably right.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Let's
there's
give them a shot.
There's a reason Nintendo has piles and piles of money.
That is true. You are absolutely correct.
They're coming out with a $70 expansion for their system that is built out of cardboard. Which they know doesn't last very long.
That's fine. You joke though, but have you read the reviews on that?
Yeah,
stuff?
the reviews of it are
People
great.
say it's great.
Yeah.
Apparently the camera in the one Joy-Con is cooler than we thought it was.
Okay.
Like the little remote control car thing you can build. It has a mode where you can control it with the Switch console.
Yeah.
That camera is infrared, so they showed it on the Switch on the Switch proper. It's a camera on your controller. We didn't who thought that was even there. They're underselling this thing.
You're getting one, aren't you?
No, but it's kind of
Drew.
neat. I'm not doing
Drew.
it. Not doing it. Not quote me. Nah, not happening.
We are men of action here. Lies do not become us.
I might be springing for $190 modern Super Nintendo, but I'm not buying cardboard.
That thing's $190.
The analog Super NT?
Yeah.
Yes. The high definition Super Nintendo.
Okay.
So it's got all the video modes you could ever want. Scan line functionality if you want it. Audio functionality that you can tweak. Any visual output you can imagine it can handle.
It's got wireless controllers.
Yes, it does.
All right. I was about to say.
One of them for an extra $40.
You have to. The system doesn't even come with a single controller?
No.
Wow.
Here's what it does, though. It does run over Bluetooth, and you can use a PS4 controller with it, or your Switch controller.
Okay.
Or anything.
All right.
The folks at Analog are pretty on the ball. This is not a Nintendo. This is not a sanctioned Nintendo product. You know that.
Yeah.
But it is not software emulation. This is hardware. This is hardware. There's going to be no input lag. It's for all intents and purposes a Super Nintendo that can run out of HDMI or RGB or any other video output you can imagine seamlessly and perfectly. And it is identical to the Super Nintendo.
In price as well. It's truly retro.
You know what's amazing? Adjusted for inflation, it's cheaper. You know what those consoles cost us back in the day? Did you ever think about that?
Like $300.
Like $299 back in the
standard.
day. You know what $299 then would be now? Like $600. They were doing PS3 pricing in 1991. Oh, bless our parents.
Yeah.
Bless our parents. Yeah. Oh my God.
Back in the day were bare minimum.
I was such a bad kid.
Bare minimum. You got 2 controllers in a game.
Yeah, those were the days.
And that was everybody doing that.
I think the Genesis was the first console to only come with 1 controller.
No, the original package came with 2 controllers in the game. Yep.
Okay.
2 controllers and Altered Beast.
All right.
Later,
I'll believe you for now.
The initial releases always... Well, I got an initial release, so, But the initial releases of pretty much every classic system...
Oh, yeah, you got 2 controllers and a game.
2 controllers and a game. Then, after a system been out a couple years, they come out with, the cheap package. That would be, just a console and 1 controller.
Oh, now you get nothing.
Yeah. I think the first system not to come with a packing game was PlayStation.
I'd believe that.
Came with a packing demo.
Oh, well. Anyway.
It was like an 8-game demo, so, But, yeah. So, yeah. That was Nintendo's Hullabaloo this week. Drew.
Huh?
As you had mentioned, the Super Bowl was this week.
Sure was.
As what the Super Bowl has come to do, commercials this year, pretty boring. And
some real questionable commercials, by the way, this year.
Oh, who are you mad at?
Hi, Dodge. Maybe invoking Martin Luther King is not a good way to sell trucks.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're getting roasted for it.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Hard. As they should. Anyway, that aside, yeah, very uneventful commercials this year, which, fine, I don't care anymore. I work for an ad agency. I see ad all day. I'm good.
One thing I did want to ask you about, and try to answer this, I get your rage towards this, and it's understandable, but try to answer it as biased and as
unbiased, you mean?
As unbiased and as less rage as possible. The Budweiser commercial.
Yes.
Where they did the water thing. Is that something they actually do, or?
I have no idea.
Okay. I was just curious.
Anything they do is marketing. So, what did they say? I probably missed it. What they do?
Like shipping, they stop producing beer and start filling cans with water and shipping them to disaster areas.
I have no idea if they actually do that. If they're putting it in a commercial, I'm going to assume that they do, because I don't think Dodge might be completely tone deaf, but Anheuser-Busch generally is very aware of their brand. So if they're going to put out some kind of philanthropy in an ad, I'm going to take them at their word and they say yes, they probably do that.
All right.
They have enough breweries in the country where they could shut one down for a day and go, just put out water.
That's pretty cool.
Good on them. I loathe them, but hey, philanthropy. Well. Yeah, never mind. I get twisted up about corporations that do good things and then advertise that they do the good things.
Yeah, you're kind of defeating the purpose of charity there at that point.
Exactly. See also WWE. So I can go off on this subject. It's because then they'll come back at you and be like, "What? You're mad that we're doing good things? Is the end result all that matters?" Yeah, but you're not doing it altruistically. You're doing it to be patted on the back for it, and that is not why you do it. And that's my problem with it. So anyway, that's a little aside, folks.
No, I get you. So with the Super Bowl, especially in the past 5 or 6 years, is the new trailer debut season
and trailer for trailer debut season.
Yes. Well, that started I think last year or the year before, and it makes sense to me.
Okay.
Because Super Bowl commercials go out at 1.5 million a minute. Or something like that.
They're expensive, but think about the eyes you're getting on the product.
We can spend $1.5 million a minute, or we could spend $3 million for a 2-minute full trailer, or we can just spend half that.
By the 30-second spot.
By the 30-second spot and say,
tune in tomorrow.
Here's where you can go for this.
Yes.
And that's what we got we got, well, we'll end on the big one, but we got out of nowhere. I heard there was a little bit of rumor that something like this was being made, but
The Die Hard remake with The Rock?
no.
Because that looks stupid.
Well, yeah, it's,
And I love The Rock.
yeah,
But this looks dumb.
yeah. I'm not talking. There's a bunch that we're skipping.
Okay. The Jurassic World trailer that looked, I didn't know if it was actually real until I saw Chris Pratt in the trailer. Did you see that trailer? I thought it was a parody until it was like,
Yeah.
oh no, this is actually it. What are they doing over there?
yeah. Although Jeff Goldblum's Jeep commercial.
Yeah.
Put Jeff Goldblum in a commercial, you're gonna make me want to buy your
If
product.
he's not the Grand Master, I just don't care anymore. I
Did
need
you
I need him in pajamas being delightfully weird. That's where I'm at with Jeff Goldblum.
Did you see the Target exclusive Funko Pop of him from Jurassic Park? Where he's like laying down.
Oh, with the shirt open? Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay, so we got a trailer for a brand new Cloverfield movie.
Ah,
that
yes.
Not only, like, this was the first we'd heard of it, aside from like little rumblings here and there.
I heard it was being made. I just didn't know. Yeah, go
Not
on.
only did we get the trailer dropped on us, not only did it turn out it's going to be a Netflix exclusive, but the film was available immediately after the game.
Yeah. And reviews are in, Carl. It's not good.
Well, I mean,
I'll watch it because I'm curious because I like the John Goodman one quite a bit actually, more so than the big monster one. I'll check it out. But yeah, that's what we're doing now. Huh?
I thought that was pretty cool. Like, here's this thing. Oh, and by the way, you can have it immediately right after you're done watching this game.
It's an impressive and bold strategy. And
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him.
but at the same time, it's that's the kind of thing you do when you know you got something that's really not hot. So it's like, check it out, and then you're like, yeah, it stinks. But I mean, I was excited for a minute. I don't know. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said for building that anticipation. You know, I don't know. Like, you know who else that kind of bit in the butt?
What?
Sega. Remember the Dreamcast?
Yeah.
Or no, it was Dreamcast or Saturn. The one that where they went to E3 and people were expecting the Saturn, I'm pretty
It was
sure.
Saturn.
And
Yeah.
the guy gets on stage and he's like, "You can go to buy it right now." No one was prepared for that. Like, no one, you know, if you're
Yeah,
looking
you gotta build something.
you gotta
like
need
that
some
up.
lead time. Like, you gotta build some anticipation. You gotta get pricing in
Especially
order.
with something that's like $300.
Yeah. It's not a 1-to-1 parallel with a movie, but
Yeah.
still, I feel like you got to, you know, you need time to let people process. Like, when is it? Okay, cool.
Yep.
But in the case of a movie, I guess it's fine. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap entertainment, and yeah, cool.
Although the Saturn was a great system.
Was it?
It was. There were a lot of really cool
Got kind of
games out
swallowed
for
up
it.
in the wake of the PlayStation, though.
Well, the problem is, I think what ultimately killed Sega is like with their last two systems, Dreamcast and Saturn, they wanted to be first. So everyone else just kind of waited, see what they did, and then did what they did better.
Basically,
Yeah.
more or less.
But yeah,
Yay, Cloverfield. There's a fourth one coming too, apparently.
sure. I just thought that was really cool. We got a new Avengers teaser.
Yeah, not a lot we haven't seen before.
No, just a little bit more of like, you know, the craziness that's going on. And one of my favorite things that the film always does, especially with Spider-Man,
Oh, and Cap, to be fair.
keep the damn mask on.
I know.
There's not a lot I rage about, Drew.
There's not.
I like to,
You're fairly
to
unflappable.
be the hopeful and optimistic one of the two of us.
Except when it comes to Spider-Man.
Just keep the mask on.
I feel you. I know since the first Spider-Man movie, this has been a thing. We got to show the actor's face. I get it, but I don't like it either.
Cap has at least gotten better. Like the worst that was at was Avengers Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but keep in mind, like, we're
Civil
talking
War,
about...
he was like, when you think about it, he had the mask on.
He did. But now we're talking about a movie where he's going to be no mask for the whole movie.
And beard.
Granted, he has a beard and it is majestic, but, you know, I'm just saying. Yeah, I know.
And Cap's got a new shield, and people are going crazy because clearly that's going to be his new permanent shield. He's never going to get his original shield back.
I know.
Ever.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a big moment when he picks it back up, and everyone's going to pop for it. Relax.
Drew, I'm trying to see the best in people. I'm trying to be hopeful for people. I'm trying to carry the light for people that you discarded long, long ago.
But you're starting to see why
they're making it really hard.
You see? What did I tell you about fans, dude? What have I been saying to you? It's dangerous. They're crazy.
The problem is
realize that
it's the bad ones that are the most vocal.
I know.
And the good ones, like us, just kind of like, okay, you guys go.
I know, but
I'm just gonna be over here having fun.
Just remember, fan is short for fanatic.
Yeah, I know.
You know who else was a fan? Robert De Niro in that movie with Wesley Snipes, and he was a psychopath. I think it was called The Fan. Don't be that guy.
He was a dude just throwing knives.
Look at that pull I just made.
That's a deep cut.
No one remembers that movie but me.
I remember that movie.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
You're welcome.
Speaking of Wesley Snipes, did you see the stories that were coming out about the Black Panther movie? He and John Singleton.
I heard about that. Back then, but
he would have made a great Black Panther
in the day. Yeah, sure.
But the movie Singleton wanted to make, no,
probably not. It wasn't time yet.
Yeah.
It is time now. I also saw that Wesley Snipes was like, I want to be in a Marvel movie. It's like, of course you do, man. You got out of jail for tax evasion. I'm sure you're taking any work you can get, brother. My God,
he was fantastic in the Expendables.
Okay.
Expendables 3.
Look, no one ever.
It opened up with them breaking him out of jail.
That's amazing.
And they asked him why he went to jail, and you know what he said? Tax evasion.
That's incredible. The self-awareness is incredible. That's great.
Oh, those movies know what they are.
Oh,
they steer into it hard.
I'm actually just.
I love those.
I'll be honest. I'm happy for him for doing it and not dodging it and being prickly about it. That's kind of funny because apparently he was kind of a jerk. Like in Blade 3, everyone said he was just a total no one wanted to be on the set of Blade 3 because Wesley Snipes was insufferable. I like Wesley Snipes. Yeah. He was good. He was good back in the day.
Yeah,
Wesley Snipes was the man.
Yep.
Anyway,
so yeah, all right. Let's get to the heart of the matter as far as trailers go. Drew, ask and ye shall receive. Apparently. Like I said last week, sir, trust the process.
The Disney moles are. Well, hang on. No, I guess this is going to be the all-encompassing Star Wars portion of the show.
Yep.
We asked, we got
first trailer for Solo.
Yeah,
we got a teaser trailer Super Bowl night, and I was freaking out because I'd seen the announcement like everyone else that said the trailer was premiering on Good Morning America on Monday.
Right.
So I was like, okay, fine. So I didn't expect it. Then I see Lucasfilm come up on the screen. I'm like, ooh.
Wait a minute. I know that.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got our first look at Solo.
Okay. Now, in case y'all don't know.
Lando Calrissian in a fur coat?
Yeah, forget it. I'm in. Sold.
Take my money. Take my money.
I mean, you sound facetious, but at the same time, yeah. Basically,
yeah.
All my cynicism about that movie, and everyone's really rightly, with all the direction, the directors changing, and like the reports that the actor couldn't act, like all it was this. The rap on this film has not been good. But then I see the trailer, and I see Lando Calrissian in a fur coat, and all that goes away because I'm just like, I want to watch that movie.
Yeah,
I want that movie.
Yeah,
I want to see Lando in the fur coat. For 90 minutes.
I said they know what they're doing. Like you can tell me all the behind the scenes drama, all that stuff. Like at the end of the day, me personally, I'm like, is Kathleen Kennedy still involved? Is it still Disney?
Well,
all right, I'm there.
Yeah.
What have they done since they acquired the property? We've gotten 3 movies from them.
We're going to get to that. But the trailer itself, I thought was, it looked better than I thought it was going to. This was not a movie that anyone needed.
No, we didn't need it, but you know what? We didn't need to know how Death Star plans got stolen either. And that became one of my most favorite Star Wars movies of all time.
But they didn't have to recast a main lead.
That's true.
In that.
That's
true.
You
know what I mean? So there was some leeway there. Here you're recasting Harrison Ford, and it's like, I don't need to know the origin of all... Like I said earlier, I don't need to know where stuff comes from. And I still don't. But this trailer had a pulse, and it looks neat in a way.
Yep.
Something about it looked interesting. And it's not so much the story that was intriguing to me, because obviously, spoilers, he gets the Falcon.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like a heist movie of some sort.
But the thing that I thought was intriguing, it visually looks different somehow. And I thought the same about Rogue One, too, where the mainline movies seem to have a certain aesthetic that just rings Star Wars aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
Rogue One, and now from what I can see in Solo, I can't tell you exactly what it is, but they look a little different.
Yet, while still feeling like Star Wars.
It still feels the same, but there's a texture or a color palette difference or a framing difference. It's hard to explain what I'm telling you, but when I see it, it's familiar, but different. It's cool.
I think with Rogue One and with this one, they kind of dial up the crime a bit. They embrace more the classic lived-in look.
Maybe that is it.
We still get that in the new saga films, the Skywalker saga films.
Yeah,
but
the Empire's all got shiny new stuff, and
there's kind of more on the line there with those films than there are with these films. So they can do different stuff with these films than they've been able to do with the saga films. Perfect example, the music that they were using in this trailer.
Yeah, very different.
You ever hear electric guitar in a Star Wars film?
No.
I heard it, I was like, ooh. It's different. What you've been asking for.
Yeah.
It's everything you've been asking for.
I think
it's something different.
I think that's why it kind of struck a chord with me, and I was kind of like, this is intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm kind of invested here. What are you doing for me?
And we get that stuff that's still familiar to us.
Yeah.
The Empire, Chewbacca, everything else is same but different. There's a new TIE fighter out there, and I'm wondering, how is that going to incorporate into X-Wing? What's that going to do with X-Wing?
Of course,
is it going to have a crew component on it?
Of course,
heavy laser cannon.
Naturally, that's where you would go. The Falcon looks a little different too.
The Falcon looks different. It's brand new.
Oh my God, the interior!
I saw a great meme.
Han, you really let this ship go, buddy.
I saw a great meme on Twitter.
Oh my God,
that shows like the interior from the trailer.
Yes.
And the interior like how we all know it.
Yellow and brown.
This is why you don't buy a white couch.
I saw that, and that is
this
brilliant.
Is why you don't buy a white leather couch.
Yep. Yeah. Ray, new owner of the Falcon.
Paint job.
Time to reupholster.
Maybe some OxyClean,
Yeah. Get Billy Mays. Oh, he's dead. Never mind.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry. I forgot.
So
I love Billy Mays, by the way.
Sure.
That was a tragedy.
That was.
He was coked up, but still, it was a tragedy. What a personality on that guy.
Hit his head on a plane or something?
He had drugs in his head. I forgot exactly what happened. It was sad, though. What a personality for a guy with no talent.
Yeah. But, this movie looks great. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll see. Again, it's weird because I can't block out all of the reservations entirely, but from what I see, it's kind of neat.
It's going to be Star Wars. It's going to have moments where you feel like a kid again, and that's all I want from it.
Okay,
I want to have fun. That's all I want.
Hopefully,
I went in Last Jedi. I wanted to have fun. I had fun, and I got my mind blown at the same time.
Yeah. So in a good way and a bad way for a lot of people.
Force Awakens, Rogue One, fun, crazy fun. So yeah.
Well, I hope you like fun, Carl.
Oh, because apparently I'm getting a lot more of it.
You're gonna have so much fun. You're gonna die having fun.
Well, like my plastic surgeon always says, if you're gonna go with a smile.
Here's where my concerns come in, Carl. I'm already a little like, hey, all right, with all the annual installments with the anthologies and the sagas and all that. All right, okay, all right, fine. But now we got Ryan Johnson gets a trilogy, and now the guys from Game of Thrones get a trilogy, and you get a trilogy, and I get a trilogy.
I don't know what I'm going to do with my trilogy.
And,
We're going to make a tag and bank trilogy.
And Lucas gets a trilogy, and
no, Lucas gets no more trilogies.
not George Lucas. My dog.
Oh, okay.
Lucas gets a trilogy.
Okay,
Everyone gets a
I'll
trilogy.
watch that trilogy
Because they're announced the Game of Thrones guys.
It announced that the creators of the Game of Thrones television show and showrunners and whatnot will be working on a new Star Wars trilogy. Personally, me having watched Game of Thrones, being a fan of Game of Thrones, I'm okay with this.
You realize they didn't write the source material.
That's fine.
All right.
There's still something
I'm
to be
not
said
even-
in talent of adaptation.
That's fine. I'm not worried so much about those. Some people seem to think like they're gonna put rape and death and all this stuff in Star Wars.
Yeah, no.
I don't think that's
No.
happening.
Because Kathleen Kennedy Disney won't let
No,
that
she ain't
happen.
gonna play around. But
They didn't say that they're like coming out next year.
no,
This is down the road, man.
Yeah, fine. But
I get what you're saying.
look,
I get what you're saying. There's something to be said for oversaturation.
I like ice cream, Carl, but I can't eat ice cream every day, 3 meals a day. And if Disney,
you've been eating Marvel's ice cream 3 meals a year for the past couple of years.
different.
and you'd
It's different.
you'd be, it's not.
you get different.
that.
We've been over this before. You get different characters, you get different things, and you don't have to invest in all of it at once. Star Wars is very ubiquitous, and like you're going to start throwing, like hypothetically speaking, if they become the new Marvel universe, essentially, if they start throwing 2 or 3 Star Wars movies at me a year.
Yeah, three. If they get to the
2
point,
even is like no. 1 a year at the most.
yeah, if they get to the point where they're at the production levels of Marvel, then even I will be like, okay, this is too much. I'm good with 1 a year. I'm good with the oscillating. Okay, we're going to tell this main saga story, and then we're going to have this.
That's fine. I could
fine
live
with
with that.
But I think ultimately this goes back. We keep coming back to this, and it just gets summed up best. I'm not saying this in a derogatory way. You love 3 movies. I love the world.
I
So-
love 5 of the
Yeah,
movies.
but you know what? If
But it's all
Phantom,
predicated
if,
on the 3.
yeah, if Phantom Menace, if
Please don't go
Force
there.
Awakens, Rogue One, and Last Jedi were never made, you'd still be good. You'd be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I want more. I want to hear more stories of this world. I love this world. I want to hear not just like these main character stories. I want to see hey, who's that guy in the back corner? What's he doing? I want to know his story. If you could tell me a good story about him, I'm willing to listen.
Yeah, I don't need all that. Your stories, if that guy's in the background eating popcorn for a reason, because he doesn't matter. He's set dressing. That's all he is. I don't care what I love the Mos Eisley band. Those guys jam, dude. They're gonna get a movie. You know what's gonna happen.
I'll go see it.
Yeah, I just don't need it.
You make that the Star Wars version of Almost Famous with the Mos Eisley Cantina
Oh my
band.
God.
Shut up! You're not going to see that movie. You know you're going to see that.
Almost
movie.
Famous, no, but if they do like a that thing,
Airheads.
that thing you do,
Or
with-
yeah, that.
that I'm in.
Yeah,
especially
see?
if you get what was it, Steve Zahn?
Yeah.
Get him in there. He's funny.
Captain Geach and Womp Rat Shooters.
That guy, yeah. That's
You
right.
know you're going to see that
That's
movie.
right.
Stop.
You know, a lot of my principals. Stop signing it. We're all signing it. Okay, I'll go see that one.
Yep.
No, it's too. I don't know. And then
If the movie is Jabba the Hutt getting on a diet plan,
I'm not watching that one. Iger
starring John Hamm.
Iger just came out and said they're also working on several live action Star Wars shows for Disney's upcoming streaming service.
Doesn't mean they're going to make them all.
Lucas said things for years that never happened, so
Yeah.
maybe that
I'm sure there will be
all I'm
a
saying is
show.
I've already got a little fatigue. Disney, this is my WWE advice. I can't miss you if you don't go away.
See, here's the thing, though. Your fatigue is with everything surrounding the films. It's
But-
not the films themselves. Because Force
sometimes I
Awakens,
need a
Rogue
break.
One, and Last Jedi, you've loved all 3 of them. You've had a great time at all 3 of them.
Yes, but sometimes I need to just kind of stop and smell the roses for a while. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Every year, it's gonna get old. I'm telling you, it's gonna get old. They're gonna burn it out.
It hasn't gotten old with Marvel. Disney knows what they're doing.
Give it time.
You've It's fine.
I'm going to float this out
It's
there for you.
Fine.
I will bet. I don't bet, but I will predict that Solo has the worst opening of any of these movies yet.
Probably.
Yeah.
It is coming out in May, in an already crowded May.
They're competing with their own franchise, I believe, with Avengers. That doesn't
Yes and no.
That doesn't bode well for their faith in the film.
No, not Avengers is first weekend of May, Solo's last weekend of May. Summer box office shelf lives are 2 weeks, is where you're getting your peak performance out of. Anything beyond that is gravy. So technically Avengers will still be in theaters when Solo comes out, but it will have done its business by then. They're not competing with themselves.
If
they released it like the week after on the same week, yes, that would be horrible and a terrible decision.
Just keep it at Christmas.
No, I agree with that. I love Star Wars films at Christmas.
I do too.
That is,
and it's working for them.
You own that season.
Yeah, it's weird.
You own what is, surprisingly enough, the busiest time
for movies
in theaters.
Kids aren't in school.
Is Christmas. Yeah.
They're on vacation.
Yeah, just keep it Christmas. You own Christmas. You've owned the
Christmas.
past
Copyright.
3
Disney.
Christmases.
Christmas is paying royalties to the mouse.
Pretty much. Just do that.
Yeah,
But everything else seems, I think Solo's May release date was kind of because of the director's switch and whatnot. I remember it did get moved around. So yeah, we'll see.
All right. We will.
Yeah,
every year.
It'll be fine. It'll be fun. We're gonna have a good time. You know, you're gonna enjoy it.
Okay. I
don't know why you seem so bound and determined to dislike Star Wars.
Because I like it in small doses. I like to process it
You
and
get it in
bask
small
in
doses. You get one a year. You get a little morsel every year.
We could do less.
No, because I lived in a world where there was less and it wasn't enjoyable. It wasn't as enjoyable.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I think that's pretty much it as far as news goes.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, we're gonna call it because I'm struggling. So yes,
yeah,
that's it. That's all the things.
All the things
that have happened.
Yep,
probably.
Most likely. I mean, I was sick for a lot of the week, so I don't.
Well, you're back now.
I'm back in pog form.
So,
that being said,
look at you. Not prepared.
Time to rustle the papers and break out a little bit of breakdown. Going back to see our good friend Frank, non-Ghost Rider Frank.
Right.
Non-quippy Ghost Rider.
We're just going to ignore that.
Frank.
It doesn't exist. That's the best way to approach this, really.
If that's legitimately Frank Castle, is that the worst thing they've done to him?
No. As messed up as that is, no.
Frank and Castle still.
Frank and Castle still is.
Even over Spiritual Avenger?
It's 1A, 1B, really. So, Frank's. Yeah. This space, fine. Anything can happen in space. Angelic guns. Frankencastle. If I'm that editor and you come at me with Frankencastle, get out of my office. You're fired. Rick Remender, you're double fired. Hate that guy.
Step into my office.
Yes. You can Google the quote, kids.
All right.
Can't say it here.
Episode 6, Judas's Ghost. Opens up. We have a charming little dinner scene.
Yeah.
Kinda.
We got families coming together.
Yeah.
One living, one
dead.
One dead. Frank's having visions here.
Yeah, Frank's having fever dreams.
Granted, if I were laying bleeding out septic with an arrow in my back, I'd probably be seeing things as well. So in the vision, the army guys show up and they kill everybody. And I was debating, like, ooh, are they going to show kids getting shot in a Marvel show? And they don't.
Yeah,
they cut away, but you get the idea. But For half a second there, I was like, "Oh, they're really committing to this show."
Yeah. Oof. Do you think they kind of did this too much?
The cutaways,
Not so much code, but just like the overall visions of
the flashback kind of stuff. I want to say, here's where
have you finished the series?
on the last episode right now.
Okay.
And in the episode prior, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Half the episode is flashbacks or like interpretive side stuff. You know why? You know why I think I have a problem with it? Because Marvel shows seem to have this padding problem. And they feel, in this show, they feel like they're kind of padding. I know what they're there for. I know what they're trying to do. And, for people that are unfamiliar with the character, I get it. But it does feel like padding. So, yeah, I feel like there might be a smidge too many of these kind of scenes in this series.
Yeah. It just, like, you kind of see why they did them in the last episode. But it still seems like, because it's pretty much at the beginning of every episode.
Granted, I'm not done with the last episode yet. I'm halfway through.
Yeah,
okay?
no, that's why.
So unless there's a big swerve coming, I don't know. But let me put it this way: in the second to last episode, when spoilers, Frank has a big decision to make. I would have gone in a different direction, and had they gone the direction I would have gone with, it all might have been worth it. But from where I sit right now, it's fairly predictable.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really go anywhere. But my idea would have been a real, or you could call it cliche and hack, but whatever. I think it would have been cool, and it would have been more in line with the comics.
No.
But we'll get to that in episode 12 or 12, right? Yeah, second to last? Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
So, episode 12, remind us, folks, to come back around to my idea of what I would have done in that episode differently.
Yep.
Because I'll probably forget, just so you know.
Let's see. Micro goes and gets Curtis.
Curtis has a lot to do in this episode.
Yes, he does.
He's coming to the rescue a lot.
Yeah, I like Curtis. Curtis is a really good character.
He is a good character. He's a good dude.
And we find that Micro is great with computers and hardware, not so good with icky, fleshy stuff.
I mean, remember when they used to flip channels and the surgery channel be on? How much of that could you really sit through before you were like, I can't, can't do it.
Yeah.
Same reason why I can watch like a slasher movie and not care. But if you show me like
surgery,
actual graphic injuries, I queeze up real fast, man.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you, Micro. I feel you, buddy.
So, but Frank gets the arrow.
Oh, now I figured
not pulled out of him, pulled through him.
I figured that's what they were gonna do. But here's the thing: I didn't know, like, if it had already gone through him and it was just kind of through him, and they just had to pull it out. That's one thing. They sliced into his back, right?
Yeah.
To fish it out. Does that mean they sliced through the muscle? Like that's going to be a problematic recovery.
There's not a DR in front of my name, so I can't answer your question.
To any doctor listeners,
let us know.
Let us know. Like, I got to imagine you're cutting through some kind of muscle tissue back there to slice that open, and all I do is I see Curtis staple the flesh back together, but you just sliced his muscle like in half. And Frank's up and about a couple days later, like, I'm cool.
I'm sure it heals.
Okay.
Probably not as quick as was depicted.
No. In fact, a lot of wounds in this series, as I'm noticing, people have very quick turnaround.
I mean, to a point, you can make the argument that, Frank's a Marine and there's a different
He's tough.
level that they operate at.
That's true, but there's pain tolerance, and then there's like, dude, you have no muscle in your back now.
Yeah.
Can you lift your arm? Is that possible? I don't even know if that's possible.
I don't know. So then we got Madani and Billy Russo getting coffee again.
Lots of coffee.
Not crazy about the amount of coffee in the series. And then Russo, like, dude, okay, I get if you need to use the facilities, close the door, man.
Now,
General common courtesy.
I feel you, and I clearly hear you. But for what it's worth, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, military dudes don't care.
That's fine when you're in the service and you're with a bunch of other guys and whatnot, but
I hear you, but I knew a guy.
Coitus, man.
I know. I knew a guy who was in, got out. He would drop a deuce right in front of his girl. Just, she'd be in there doing her makeup. He'd just show up and drop trout.
No.
I know.
No, that's...
So if they're going for authenticity, I'd say they did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I know, it's weird, but that's the life that they lead.
And apparently Madani just kind of leaves sensitive Homeland Security material.
Like you
about.
do.
You know, just
but
file here, file there, file there.
He's got no right to really be reading that, though. But at the same time,
She's
you're
not
right.
really stopping him.
She's not stopping him. That's true. And through that, hey, Frank's name's in here.
Yeah.
So now he's curious about Frank.
Yep.
So he wants answers, and he's going to spend the whole episode calling out every hour on the hour to Frank on the radio in hopes that Frank is listening, which is a little strange, but
yeah.
If the feds think he's alive, Billy has reason to believe that he's alive and maybe active.
Do we think because of the way this episode ends, do we think that Billy already knew he was alive?
He knew that they never found his body.
Yeah.
He knew that. And I think him knowing what he knows about Frank.
Because with Rollins, spoilers on the episode, Billy offers to get Frank out of the country, and he never shows up, and Billy goes into a truck, and Rollins is there.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking Henry Rollins.
No, that'd be much cooler. That'd be much cooler. Henry Rollins would have made a good Punisher in the day.
Yeah, he would have.
Oh.
In the day. He still would today. What are you talking about?
He doesn't lift anymore.
Don't care.
He's much smaller.
That rage is still there.
It is. It's a little more concise now, but I love Henry Rollins. He's great. He's super cool. I think Billy has been in collusion all along. Yeah. Obviously. And any altruistic intent that he might have put forth in this episode to Frank was just to get him either to get him into the fold or to get him close enough where Agent Orange can kill him.
Yeah.
Which is more likely since Agent Orange sent the guys after Gunner and all that stuff in the past episode.
Yeah.
So, Billy is not, as we see as the show goes on, he is sort of conflicted, I think, to a degree, about Frank, but not really. Not
so conflicted as to get him to stop what he's doing.
No.
Yeah.
No. And if when push comes to shove, no, he's gonna take Frank out.
Yeah. This episode seems to be a lot more kind of set up, and another episode where, at least from my perspective, not a lot seems to really happen.
Well, we get some development with the Lewis storyline.
Yeah, that's like the big happening of this episode is we see the character Lewis is going to be.
Yeah. Now, again, I feel like his setup into his little descent into constitutionalist silliness is a little forced because again, what he's going through in terms of his trauma, I don't know why suddenly like gun rights becomes his crutch to prop himself up. It's still, I don't get it.
I think he's a soldier who needs a battle to fight.
I get maybe that's it.
This is what he finds.
That's fair, I guess. But so he's kind of slipping. He's got O'Connor as his kind of like guide that he's latched onto. And O'Connor's a jerk.
They're handing out flyers, and
now to be fair, the cop is totally unjustified.
Yeah, the cop is. Yeah, the cop said. I have all the respect in the world for cops and whatnot, but
see,
God bless them for the job they do. But the bad ones are.
That's one of the points in the show, though, where it's like, what are you trying to say? Your message is getting a little muddy here. So, like, I don't know what.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's just like the cop served as that next push to Lewis to get
I
him
know,
to where
but-
they want him to be mentally.
You're right, but like it being let's air quote corrupt police officer, right? What is what?
I wouldn't even say corrupt, just bad.
Yeah,
He's just not a good cop.
no. But like, so what are you saying? You know what I mean? Like, what's the show trying to tell me then? Like,
Yeah.
So Lewis is justified because this cop's bad.
I think
You know what I mean? Like,
I think the cop is representative of a lot of police officers and media who get bad press for being legitimately bad cops. He's just kind of like every cop you see that screws up and does something bad, this is their representation right here.
I don't know
And
if we need that.
need something like that to move Lewis along to where we want him to be.
I guess, but it kind of. If I'm supposed to be afraid of Lewis, because eventually he does snap, as
Yeah.
spoilers.
They need a catalyst to get Lewis back to Curtis so Curtis can tell Lewis the truth about O'Connor.
I feel you, but I feel like what they should have done is Lewis should have outright snapped on this cop to some degree. He should have been in the wrong. Like giving him some kind of justification for where he goes, where he ends up, is a little. It's slippery.
No, because showing
I know what you're saying.
showing Lewis like display his knowledge of the law and what the cop can and can't do in that situation is showing that like he's trying to like, even though he's a soldier who needs a battle and this is the battle he's picked, whether we perceive it to be right or not, he perceives it to be right.
I totally agree, but I don't know. I feel like it's you're throwing cops under the bus to further his story when there's another way you could have did that where it just keeps Lewis on that same path without muddying those waters up a little bit. But everything in the show is intentional. At least I think it should be anyway. So what are you trying to say about this dirty cop? I don't know, because I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little weird for me. That's all. That's all. That's all. But O'Connor bails on him.
Yeah.
Lewis gets arrested. O'Connor bails.
Yep.
He's a jerk. You know who else is a jerk?
Who?
Micro's son.
Yeah.
He punched his sister in the face.
Straight cold cocked her.
Dude. No.
I mean, I get it. You know, I'm fortunate to have had my father for as long as I did before he passed away. I can't imagine what that would have been like for me had I been that kid's age. Like, you got a lot of rage there. You got a lot of anger, and you need to put that somewhere
Yeah.
where it's not going to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough that, you know, I was in my mid-30s when it happened to me. If I'm, you know, this kid's age and I'm still developing how I handle normal emotions, and then you got to deal with something like that,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna have a little come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Spoilers for future episodes. So Madani and Sam
But
get out
that, in
to
that
Kentucky.
situation, he's going to kind of flip the script on.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Madani and Sam go out to Kentucky and they see the
Stein.
Stein?
Yeah, you said Sam.
Is his name not Sam Stein?
Is it?
Yeah, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Sam.
Okay.
So they go out to Kentucky and they find Gunner's body.
Yeah, the battlefield.
They see the
and all that.
battlefield and all
Yeah.
that. But Donnie here,
She's...
all right, you know what she's like in this episode, which is weird, but
What's that?
maybe it's her specialty? She's like Billy in Predator. In this scene, she's looking at leaves and casings and going, there was a firefight here. They were firing in all directions.
I've also seen Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints. There was a firefight!
Like, she knows everything that happened. She knows Castle was there. She knows there was 2 guys bleeding out. Like, she had it all figured out. I'm just like,
Yeah.
how do you know all that?
They're trained, man.
She's right, but how did you know that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So she suspects Castle was there.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
has the blood tested.
And
Turns out.
lo and behold, yeah.
He's a Frank.
Hey. So, Curtis once again comes to the rescue and bails out Lewis.
Yeah. And then drops the truth about O'Connor.
He's
that
a
been
liar.
making stuff up. See, here's where, I mean, I wasn't crazy about the character of O'Connor to begin with because I didn't like how he was like really the only depiction of Vietnam vets.
Well,
in this
spoilers, he
thing.
wasn't.
Yeah. Like, then it turns out he's just lying. At this point, I'm kind of waiting for him to be like, okay, yes, I was lying, but I'm part of this where we want to bring you into.
Gotcha.
And I had to lie to get into that meeting to find the right type of people we're looking for. But there's no, like, there's not that. It's just like, oh, yeah, I was lying. Fooled you.
Well, it is a show dealing with military, and, you throw a little stolen valor in there, and
they don't like that.
Obviously, it's very disrespectful and dishonorable, and the show doesn't shy away from that. And Lewis certainly doesn't like it because night.
Stab, stab, stab.
Yeah. Good night, sweet Prince O'Connor. You're done for. So let's see here real quick. The one scene that was pretty, again, the show overall, this is not the Punisher show I would have made, but it does, the overall plot line is something that Garth Ennis would have come up with.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that, but the lack of Frank killing, for lack of a better term, criminals and being centered, like, they've really framed him as like a guy who was wronged, and he's taking out his revenge on those who wronged him.
Yeah,
that could be any character. Doesn't necessarily have to be the Punisher.
Yeah, I think the problem they had in this show in this season anyway was they had to establish two characters. They had to establish the Frank Castle that people who watched Daredevil Season 2 met and knew. Now we have to establish that character in his own world and, the rules that apply there. And then they also had to reestablish the character of Frank Castle that people who are just coming in this show for the first time who haven't watched Daredevil Season 2 are just watching this. So they don't have any of that backstory from Daredevil Season 2.
Well, we get a lot of that here. He's certainly conflicted and torn, and they try to make him somewhat sympathetic.
He's all out of shape.
But the scene that I did enjoy, where, this is, again, it reminded me of Punisher comics at their best. Frank tells Micro, I had two lives.
Yeah.
And sometimes I preferred the other one. I preferred to be in the muck with covered in blood and guns. Sometimes I would rather be there than with my family.
Yep.
And that's what I got to live with.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's the Frank I'm familiar with. The guy who reconciles and doesn't care, but reconciles and moves in, just embraces that. That's the Punisher. So that's starting to creep out, but he still feels bad about it, and I feel like eventually you got to get to a point where, you know what, he doesn't feel bad about it. He just is. Maybe we get there by the end of the show, by this series. I don't know. I'm 30 minutes away from finding out, but that confession in this episode was like, okay,
yeah.
Now you're selling me here. That's Frank.
Yeah.
So. Billy confronts Curtis, and Curtis plays it cool.
Yep.
Does Billy know Curtis is lying to him, do you think? Here? They have a meeting later, and
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think Billy knows. I don't know. At this point, Billy hasn't figured out that Curtis is lying to him.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I like when Frank meets Billy, he calls him pretty, because comics, spoilers, Billy the Beaut becomes Jigsaw. So, I'm 30 minutes away, Carl. Let me be surprised. I wasn't sure if they were going to get there, but maybe.
Okay.
All right. I'm with you here. I feel you. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Question.
Yes.
After Frank leaves his meeting with Billy, and Billy tries to, make Frank the offer and all that.
Yep.
Why does Frank go to Micro's house?
I think
Because Micro doesn't send him this time. He just goes there.
No, because, and I think ultimately he feels bad about missing the dinner.
Yeah.
And
sorry, I missed dinner. I was bleeding out in the woods.
Yeah. The person that Frank is, not the Punisher, is not going to necessarily let something like that happen without an apology.
Okay.
So Frank's interaction with Micro's family is like a very dangerous drug for him because it's everything he had and could have again. Like, you can't say that the temptation is not there to just like walk into the bunker, put one in the back of Micro's head,
and steal his family,
and just because like
I see. Yeah,
he's had everything he had. He could possibly have again.
I don't know.
Is it going to be the same? Is it going to be as good as it was? Absolutely not. But it's like any other drug. It
fills the void.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Okay. Fair
so
enough. Well, that's rough.
Do you think Frank's tempted
slightly
by Billy's offer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
If he was, he would have showed up.
He may or may not have showed up. I'm not asking you whether or not you think he'd actually do it. I'm just thinking if it's a temptation for him.
I don't know. I don't think so. For some reason, I just don't think. New passport out of the country again? Nah. If anything, I think he's more tempted by Micro's family than he is to get back out into field ops or whatever with Billy's unit.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. But no, I don't think he's into it.
All right.
He's either going to operate on his own or he's going to quit altogether. That's the kind of divide I feel like he's got right now. So, that's episode 6, I think.
Whoa. We're halfway there.
Just about.
Whoa. You're sitting in a chair.
I am. And believe it or not, we're walking on air.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Oh, okay.
I'm walking on sunshine.
That's fine. I was going Greatest American Hero, but that's okay. It's fine. It's all good.
We're rebooting that.
I saw. That's a ripe concept you could do.
Sure.
It plays.
Television has now reached the point of films to where we're out of ideas.
Oh, yeah. They
reboot it all.
Oh, yeah. All the things. Let's do Lost again. Let's do it right this time.
Let's just literally call that Lost again.
You joke. But you know, in some boardroom, right now, that's probably being pitched to someone.
Probably.
Like, guys, it's Lost again. And the exec's like, go on.
Another plane.
I'm with you.
Another island.
See? Is JJ involved? No. Well. Actually, to be fair, I don't want JJ involved. No JJ, no Damon Lindelof, no Carlton Cuse. Do it right this time. I'm not mad. Yes, I am.
Well, when you got to make 3 more seasons past what you were planning on.
I know. Anyway,
corporate greed, man, ruins a perfectly good story every time.
It ruins everything every time. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, right. I'm happy. Joy. Yep. Okay.
Like a flower marrying a bumblebee. I told you to shoot, but you didn't listen to me. All right, folks. Thank you very much for joining us again. We appreciate it. If you'd like to send us any questions or comments, you can find us at the following sources. You can go to Twitter at DevilsDuePod. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/DevilsDuePod. You can email us at thedevilsdupod@gmail.com, or you can find all these resources available to you on our website, thedevilsdupodcast.com. Once again, we will be at Game on Land this Saturday, starting at 12 noon. Come out, meet and greet us. We will be there to talk to you. We'll have some free comics to give away. Come check out some of the tournaments going on. It's going to be a great time, and we hope to see you there. Drew, any last thoughts? You look like you got something to say.
No, I don't.
Poochie, you have something to say.
No, I certainly don't. I'm going to go die on my way back to the home planet now.
Okay. All right, folks. Thanks again for joining us. Court's adjourned.